And the other thing that I read about that I think you just took part in was this interview with Elton John, which you probably talked about ad nauseum at this point.
It's all good.
But that must have been wild. I mean,
yeah.
What was it like?
It was over the phone, which and I suck at talking on the phone.
Right.
I also dread talking on the phone most of the time. Yeah, no, it was weird. I was really nervous. But he's amazing at talking to people. So
it was amazing. I read some of the transcript of it. How switched on he seemed to be about new music and.
That's another weird thing. Is I feel like you kind of I don't know. Someone at that age, it's has to be hard to. I mean, I don't even know how old he is really, but
I think he's got to be pushing 70.
Yeah. But I don't know, I feel like most of the time you lose your drive to discover new music and especially young people and all that stuff. But he's definitely still got his ear to the ground somehow, and he's really nice and supportive of new music.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it looked to me like you were doing as much interviewing of him as he was of you.
Well, yeah, I was told to have 5 or I was told to have 10 questions prepared or something. But he talks so much, which thank God he did. That I only really had to ask 3 questions or 4 questions. Yeah.
Cool. So we should talk about your music rather than everybody else's. Now, The Light Upon the Lake, which was released in June, how has the reception been? Have you guys, because it seems like it started out being just the two of you, and now that you're on tour and all that, there's a big band involved. I see horn players. Do they all tour with you, or is it just on special things? Does that change the shape of and the dynamic of what you're doing?
Well, I mean, I guess
silence.
I guess for us, it's not a bizarre question, but most of those guys have been involved in the band before the record even came out. So they've always been with us.
Right, I see.
The trumpet parts on the album were recorded by Will, who plays in the live band.
Right.
So they're basically, we consider ourselves a 7-piece most of the time instead of a 2-piece. But him and I do the core songwriting parts.
Right.
But yeah, I think having that many people on stage makes it a lot more fun to tour, especially when you're playing the same songs a lot of the time most nights. It gives us a lot more room for improvisation and changing things up live to keep it interesting for us
right.
to do every night.
Yeah. And that dynamic of having the two of you being the main guys in the band and then having these auxiliary people working around you. Since I know you've both been in bands, actual kind of normal bands before, how does that change the way you approach recording the album? Is it different in any way, or is it kind of business as usual?
I mean, I'm sure we'll do a lot of the recording by ourselves, but I don't know. In that way, when we have people come in, it's we're just dual band leaders, I guess. And
right.
It's just
And did the two of you kind of sit down and talk about what you're going to do so that you have a united front?
Yeah. Well, I guess. I don't know. Usually we just agree. Usually we agree on everything, anyways, pretty much. So.
And so, what kind of discussions did you have going into making the record between the two of you? Was there a vibe, a direction, a feel that you were looking for?
Not really. We went into it pretty blind, because we had originally made all of our demos. We put so much work into them. We actually kind of thought that was what the record was going to be.
Right.
And then we got hit up by Jonathan Rado, and we were like, well, we might as well. And his fee was pretty cheap, and yeah, it was we might as well just do it. And,
right.
Thank God we did. The sounds that we got in his studio were great, and we were able to make it a little bit more wide, massively appealing, I think. And then that was also, we had the help of Jacob Portrait, who used to play, or he still plays in UMO. I used to play in that band with him.
Right.
He's a great mixer, and he mixed the whole record, or half the record.
Have you played in New Zealand with UMO?
I never played a show, but I came here for a couple days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you had been here before or not.
Yeah, I have. I love it here.
Oh, good. Good. Excellent. Well, I just lost my train of thought for a minute, but it will come back to me. So, a lot has been said about the songs that were built around the making of this record. You guys were kind of in a period of transition, so to speak. Is that accurate? Is that how you look at the record?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like at this point now, like looking back at it in a way, it's almost like a timestamp. It's like when I listen to the record itself instead of just playing it live. Like I remember feeling like a little bit lost and messed up like in that time. It's like a good it's like I don't know. I feel like saying it's a journal entry is like lame, but it's like a good like timestamp of where we
It's
were.
a time capsule.
Time capsule.
And I assume things have changed since then, so are you already looking forward to the next record, and are you guys in the process of writing? Do you do that as you kind of go
Yeah,
along?
we just started writing. We don't write on tour very much. It's like really hard to like kind of get your mind together in a place where you're able to do that.
Right.
But we're blocking out time to write. We already have like a couple songs that we've made over the winter, and we're going to start playing live soon once we have a chance to like get home and practice them actually as a band.
Right. And do you write together, or do you kind of bring things to each other? How does the process
It really
work?
depends on the song. Sometimes, like, you know, the verse of No Woman, like, we kind of came up with chord for chord, like, pass the guitar back and forth.
Right.
But then, like, some other songs, I'll make a progression, leave it on the computer, and then I'll come back and be like, I made a vocal melody for this progression, and then we'll build it from there.
And I guess the difference would be between working with just the two of you and with a full band is that you only have to kind of agree between the two of you as opposed to, say, four guys.
That's the reason why it's, you know, it's probably going to remain this way, is because too many cooks in the kitchen can, like, kind of screw things up. But everyone in the band's, like, you know, they're talented enough and smart enough that, like, if we come up with, like, a basic, like, bass kind of vibe for, like, their part or something, then they can kind of put their spin on it or something. It's like very seldom do we have to like pull them back and be like, hey, maybe don't do that.
Right.
It happens, but not that much.
Is it more pushing them than pulling them, or is it pretty much a...
We never really have to like push them.
It's like the weird thing is that everyone in the band is like pretty proficient at their instrument, so
That helps.
they're more likely to overplay than underplay.
Right, gotcha.
So usually it's like that's really good, but if you like play a little bit less, it can
Right.
fit a little.
And just for folks who may not be, why would you want somebody to play less? Is it...
It just gives more space for other melodies. You know, like if everyone's playing as much as they can at one point, there are times where that is an important texture to have, but a lot of times in our music we like to, you know, kind of have things like fit in a space in a little pocket, each their own, the most of the song. So it's important to like let other things shine while you hold back and then have your moments.
Right. And I guess one thing that's unique about the band is that you, Julien, are singing and playing the drums.
Yeah.
Is that something that you gave some thought to? Did you consider, or you always wanted to do that? Yeah.
I guess we thought about it for like 2 seconds. Like I'm like decent enough at guitar that like, you know, if I practice for a week, I could like probably play rhythm guitar and sing at the same time. But
Right.
yeah, no, we thought about that for like 2 seconds, and then we were like, well, screw that. Let's just like do something unique, and like it's turned out to be like a very unique and like I think a good quirk in our set that like people, you know, I think a lot of people walk up and they're just like, oh, never really seen that before, especially falsetto.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's really done it.
So
with
that's the thing.
falsetto,
I
actually.
mean, we have singing drummers, but never falsetto singing drummers. Not that I can remember.
Yeah. So
Phil Collins never went up.
yeah, and I think that, yeah, it took me a while to like get kind of good at it. And I'm still improving at it, but yeah, I'm good enough to make people happy, I think.
It seems like it's going well. I mean, it must kind of, like when you do something like the Colbert Show, did people like what the heck when you're setting up? Do they?
No, they were a pretty crazy like staff and crew. Like,
Right.
Yeah, they were really they were kind of sick. They were really Colbert has like a great sound crew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you figure,
You know,
they
they
probably
should.
they can pay them well.
Yeah.
So when you're down here doing a thing like Laneway, you've already done a couple of Laneway festivals over in Australia. How have they gone for you?
Melbourne was awesome.
Yeah.
We played like actually in a Laneway
Oh, right.
for that one. A lot of the stages are like, you know, they're not holding true to the name or whatever, but
Yeah, well, we're struggling here to find places to put Laneway. This is like, I think, the 4th location that they've
Really?
in
It's
It's the
Auckland.
first time they've had it there, right?
Yeah, this will be the first time. I'm looking forward to seeing how it's going. Yeah, but they've been 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this is the 4th location.
Dang, that's crazy. And y'all used to have like Big Day Out.
Yes,
right?
Big Day Out.
Yeah.
We had last year, and they decided to put it on hold this year.
Yeah.
because I think some of the acts that they wanted to get weren't available or something. So,
Yeah.
so this is kind of the big day out now. Everybody's kind of
That's good.
default
That's cool.
mechanism is moved to the Laneway.
Yeah, well, it's a good lineup too.
Who are
yeah,
you liking in the lineup? Aha.
I've never seen Dune Rats, but I want to see them.
King Gizzard.
King Gizzard, yeah.
King Gizzard. They're like really, really nice, awesome dudes too.
Cool.
She's
Yeah,
good.
Aurora.
Yeah.
Sitting over there.
Yeah. Dang, I don't really know who else.
Okay.
Tame Impala,
Yeah.
obviously.
Who did we see last time that was playing right before us on Melbourne stage?
Oh, Neo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
was awesome.
Neo
All
are
right.
great.
Somebody else was telling me about that. Yeah, I have to catch that. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for taking time to talk to me. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. Have you? And next album, do you see it? What?
Hopefully
Next year.
Next year sometime?
Probably
yeah.
early next year. I mean, we have tour dates booked until, January of next year.
Yeah.
too, so.
Well, it's nice to be busy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
We'll see you.